Hi, this little video is for all you Christians out there who like to say things that just don't make any sense to try to prove that God exists. So, let's go. First of all, if you're on a plane with 200 other people and it crashes and everyone except for you dies, God did not save you. He killed everyone else. Number two, if you're on a team that thanks God for victories and you don't blame Him for your defeats, you're an idiot. Number three, United States of America is predominantly Christian. However, Christian is a very general term. Most Christians would say that their form of Christianity is the correct one, whereas all the other forms of Christianity will inevitably lead you to hell. Now, no one seems to have any proof that their particular form of Christianity is the correct one, and no one even seems to have any kind of circumstantial evidence to that. They just say this one is the correct one, and then they point to a bunch of things that all the Christianities share in order to prove that. So don't assume that the entire country is Christian, even though a lot of it is, because Christian is not a single religion. It's a whole bunch of religions that are conflicting, and they all claim that everyone else is going to hell. Next one. Religion and government. Mixing them together is a terrible thing. Alone, they're catastrophic, but when you put them together, the most horrible things can happen, and they happen in the name of good. And the Crusades obviously are a quite clear example of that. The Spanish Inquisition, the Holocaust. I know a lot of people say that the Nazis were not religious, but actually Hitler was a Catholic in good standing until right before he killed himself, which is obviously a sin. All these things happen when you combine religion and government together. They happen alone too, but they don't happen to the same extent. That's the real danger when you start legislating Christian or Muslim or any other religious preference into the law of a country. Even if everyone of that country follows that exact same religion, and even if somehow they all followed the same form of that religion, it would still be an excuse to do evil in the name of God. And without a government to get in the way of that, or with the government actually being that evildoer, there's really no way to fight back with that other than obviously a whole other country invading. Next thing. Don't ask me what happened before the Big Bang. I honestly don't know. I tell you this much though, my theory of the world and universe and all that goes back over 13 billion years. Most Christians I know would say that their theory of everything goes back 5,000 years. And no one seems to know where God came from. We know that there is only one God, no other God, according to Scripture, so therefore we know He doesn't have parents. Maybe some kind of God-creating machine built Him, but if that's the case, then who created the God-creating machine? Really, until you get some kind of clue as to where God came from other than the imaginations of prehistoric peoples, you really shouldn't be trying to make that argument, because at least the Big Bang goes back farther than the fossil record. Another thing on the Big Bang is that God is assumed to be all-powerful and infinite and everything else. Well, how can something that be infinite be created? If it's always been, then how could it have always been? And if it was created, then how could it be created without something even greater always having been? And if it's infinite, there's nothing that can be greater. So if you'd like to post some responses to this, I'm sure I'll get plenty. Thank you very much for your time.